Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from, where am I? Crossville, Tennessee. For some reason I can't, I am going to remember. I am getting better at remembering things, like where I am. So used to say in Rossville, Georgia, I was about to say that, and I'm going, no, that's not quite right. So how's your day been? How did your challenges go? How did you go with your uniqueness? I heard from some of you about what your unique aspects are, your attributes are, and they're awesome, amazing people out there. I am very blessed to be connected with some incredible people who have very unique styles, very unique talents, have incredible messages to share with others. It just makes me feel good. And then how did you do with providing value to your clients? What value did you send out to your clients today? I found a really cool article on genealogy, so I sent that out to my mailing list for my genealogists just to say, hey, here's some cool tips and trips, jeepers. Try that again. Tips and tricks from a, so I sent it out to I sent it out to my clients who are doing the research themselves. So I have two sets of clients. I have those that are doing the research themselves that are subscribed, and then I have those who are getting me to do the research for them. So for those that are doing the research themselves, I email them tips and tricks, and this was a really cool tips and tricks one. There's going to be a really cool story coming up for them soon that I found, so that'll be really cool. So did you provide value for your clients today? And how did you go with making up a dance? How did you do that? How did that go? And Jason, I want to know how your dolly in your dance to a dolly song in your dolly onesie went, or was it just going to be a dance to a song that's done in your dolly onesie? I can't remember. But let me know how it goes. I can't wait to see the video of it. Went for our walk this morning. It was really, really cool. We walked the perimeter of the campground, and we come around, and up the top is a private house that belongs to the family that owns the RV park. And in the front they had this gorgeous little garden there, and it had these real life looking dog statues. Well, Zeffie sees these things and she just stops and stares at them, and you watch the hair on her whole back that I could see because she had her harness on, was just standing up on end, and she's looking at these statues, just staring them down. And then she does this dart away and darts back again like she wants to engage them and play, and they don't play with her, and she kind of like, and she darts, comes back, they don't respond, and so she kind of like slowly stands back up again and looks at them, and I say, well, what the heck is going on here? She kind of turned her head a little bit and then turned it back again, kind of reached forward a little bit and then kind of like pulled back, as I say, these dogs aren't responding as they should be responding. So her encounter with statues of dogs was hilarious, and if I wasn't laughing so hard and I realized that if I had realized those statues were there, I would have had my camera ready beforehand, because waiting to see what her reaction would have been, but I didn't. But it was hilarious just watching her interact with these stone statues. And then we came back, and I was getting ready to get for my 8 o'clock, because I have Monday through Friday I have a call at 8 a.m. Pacific that I get on. It's a morning training call. It's anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes, and I usually get on like 10 minutes beforehand just to say hi to everybody. We do a general chit chat and all that. So I'm doing that chit chat, and my phone rings, and it's my oldest one calling me, because my grandson wanted to talk to me and say hi to grandma. So I had to put myself on mute. I said, look, I gotta go, I'll be right back. So I put myself on mute, and I got to talk with my grandson, who is currently at home with pink eye. He's been able to go to daycare through the whole COVID thing, which has been awesome, because his parents have had to work from home, so it's given them some time to get work done while the boys were at the daycare. But he was at home today with pink eye and bored and wanted to talk to grandma. So we had a nice little conversation, and it was an awesome surprise to be able to talk with my grandson, and I hope he's feeling better. So that was a nice little surprise. Then we had awesome training. They had Rob Sperry on as a special guest today. Oh my gosh, this guy was dropping golden nuggets like rain. It was awesome. Then got busy, got some work done on the Your Family Tree things. Was working on some Facebook ads, and what else was I working on today? What else did I work on today, Zeph? There was something else I was working on today. I can't remember what it was. Then I was doing my usual, spend like 10-15 minutes just going through Facebook really quick, making comments in groups and that sort of stuff, and I saw this message, and I thought, oh, and then my heart dropped, because I suddenly had this really bad feeling that the reason I was seeing this particular person's storyline, and I looked at the picture and the storyline, and my heart dropped, because this person is a dear friend, and her husband's been in hospital battling, not exactly, what was it he was battling? I can't remember. I know she did Facebook Lives on it, and my heart just dropped, and I shakily went over to her Facebook page to see that her husband had passed, and I was just heartbroken for her, because he was definitely her soulmate, just like Brad was mine, and it brought up a lot of feelings for me, so when I finally managed to calm down a little bit, which took me a while, I sent her a private message, and just know that my thoughts and prayers are with her and her family and stuff as they deal with her husband's passing. So, but they were yin and yang together. They really were. They just loved each other so much, and amazing couple. And to think that he's gone it's definitely leaving a big hole in her heart and her life. And my heart goes out to her. And I just sent the message for that, and then the power went out, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe it's just my site. So I waited, thinking maybe it was my thingy. Where's my power thingy out there? My power thing. Maybe it was just my power thing. So I waited a few minutes to see if it would click back in, because sometimes you get power surges, and my surge protector thing will cut out, will allow the power to come through, and then sometimes the power surges, it goes out for a minute or two, and then it comes back on. So I waited like 5 minutes, it came back on, and then an hour later, after it had come back on, it goes out. After 10 minutes, I called the front desk. I woke the person up at the front desk in the front office. I don't know if the person who was supposed to be manning the office wasn't there, was out doing rounds or something. I don't know. But the person, and I said, well, I'm sorry to wake you, but she said, oh, you just woke me up. And I said, I'm sorry. And I'm like looking at my watch, and like looking down, it's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but the power's gone out at my site, and I'm wondering if it's just my site or if it's the entire campground. So she says, well, let me get up and have a look. So she turns on the light. She says, let me go to another room in case that bulb's blown. She goes in and she's looking around, and she goes, no, it looks like the power's gone out. She says, I don't know why that is. It happens it's every couple of weeks. So let me check on it. It was an hour and a half before the power came back on. Fortunately, there was this beautiful breeze that was blowing, so we just opened all the windows, had the doors open, and had the breeze just blowing through the RV. So the RV got a good airing. Fortunately, too, the humidity wasn't that high at the time, and it was still a little on the warm side. Because when I had it going, I only had one AC unit going. I didn't have both going, so I wasn't at full capacity on my 50 amps. So I hadn't blown the circuit or anything. So I knew it wasn't that. But yeah, it was an hour and a half before it came back on, which was just as the temperature started to climb inside the RV, even though all the windows and doors were open, and it was climbing outside as well. So we got it back on in time, and then it went out. Oh, heck, I can't even look at that clock. Hang on, it went out 15 minutes ago and came back on 5 minutes later. So that's 3 times today that the power has gone out. Twice for 5 minutes and once for an hour and a half. So it's been a challenge trying to get some work done today, because my laptop battery is not the greatest right now. It either needs a new battery or I need a new laptop, and I'm hoping it's not the new laptop, because my laptop seems to be working fine. Although at some point I will look at upgrading it, but it's working fine right now as long as I got it plugged in. But the battery, when it's on, it doesn't last very long. So there was and both of my hotspots are battery backup as well, and my Sprint one had just finished fully recharging as well, so that was at full capacity, and I was able to would have been able to use that. So not a lot of work got done between that and that hour and a half. So Zeffie and I just napped. That's all we did. We just napped. We just sat here in this beautiful breeze going through, and it was gorgeous, and just napped. But oh, somebody's finally woken up. What you doing? Gonna come over and say hi? Oh, you got to see her with her new toy. This is her new toy. It's a rope knotty thing that's got a piece of real bone on it. And she loves chomping on the bone, but she can't figure out how to get the bone off the rope. So that'll be her new challenge. But to put the rope through there, so she has already frayed the rope a little bit around the bone, but she's trying to chomp the bone. Hey, you gonna say hi? Nope. I'm just gonna turn my back to everyone. Okay, we'll leave her chewing her bone. But yeah, so she's got her new toy and is quite happy with it. I put all the toys out that I got her yesterday, and I let her choose which one she wanted to play with first, and then she'll get another one in like a week or two. Yeah, it all depends. I don't know. I haven't decided when I'm going to give her another one yet. But so yeah, so it's been an up and down day. You know, hearing of my friend's husband passing was hard to take. That was really hard. Especially because Brad had been on my mind a lot this morning as well, and then to go and read that my friend's husband had transitioned as well. That was that just kind of made the day a little. But then I got really cool messages from people talking about the uniqueness as well, so that helped brighten the day. And then got a message for somebody asking for help, so I was able to connect them with the person that can help them. So that's love doing that. Got to get some pictures from the people who had won the photo contest last week and able to make the coffee mug. And now that my power is back up, I can go. I sent the proof off to one of our winners and asked her if that's okay. And so that's going to go out as soon as we finish this call. We're going to be sending that one out to her, and still waiting for photos from my other winner from last week. So Thursday we'll have another photo contest go. Caption this photo. So it'll be a Zeffy picture again, with a caption this picture. Trying to get some really cool experience. There's one photo I want to get. But she's not being cooperative with it. But you're going to have to wait and see what picture that is, because I don't want to ruin the surprise. It's really cute. She does it every time I do a particular activity. She does this every single time, and every time I think about it, I suddenly think about it afterwards, and I'm like, damn, I forgot to take my phone with me again. I forgot to take my phone. Forgot to have the phone within reach when we're doing this particular activity. And so I'm working on remembering to have my phone with me at all times to get that picture. But I did get a cute picture of her asleep with her paw on her nose today, so I'll see if I can find that one and post it, because it's really cute. But I'll put that under Zeffy's Great Adventures, so you can have a look at that. But yeah, so it's been a day of up and down. I did not get to do my tune-up Tuesday and create a dance today. It was day after travel, and day after travel I kind of a little run down on those days with energy levels. So I think it's the concentration of driving the RV. Don't know, and it's coming down from that higher, that travel, the driving high that you get when you love to drive. And you've been driving through this, I mean, there's gorgeous scenery around here with all the trees and everything. Oh, that's what I discovered today. I had to tell you guys. So you know how I was telling you that there's a shooting range close by, and I've been hearing semi-automatic rifles firing, right? They have a very distinctive sound. And so I thought, well, I wonder where this shooting range actually is. So on our walk this morning, we discovered what the shooting range actually was, and it's actually a quarry. There's a quarry next door, and it's them moving the gravel is what it was. But the way they were moving the gravel, it sounded like a group of semi-automatic rifles firing. But there is a shooting range just down, and it's actually just down the road a little bit. So occasionally you do hear the pops of the guns going off, but the one that you was hearing continuously that sounded like semi-automatic weapons being fired, like a group of semi-automatic weapons being fired, actually turned out to be the quarry next door moving gravel. And I thought, that's interesting. And of course they were quiet for the hour and a half because they had no power either, so it was like it was in a grid that the power had gone out. So because all of a sudden their noise stopped, the AC stopped going, and I was like, and I'm like sitting here working on the computer. I'm like, what? And I look up at my microwave, and there's no time on it. See, right now it still shows the PF because I haven't reset the time yet. But it was sort of like, oh my gosh. So the way they move the gravel sounds like a group of semi-automatics firing but it's actually a quarry, and it's right next door. Like, if I'm looking out the window here, the other side of that tree belt just out there is where the quarry is. I'm not sure how much of a lip we have before we go down to the quarry, but yeah, that's where the quarry is, right next door. So that's why it sounds so loud and so close. And when I looked at the map, the shooting range is actually the next road down from this one. So when I head back towards the freeway, I'll pass the turnoff to the, it's actually the turnoff to another campground that I was looking at, and there's a shooting range down that road. So it backs into this area somehow. I haven't figured out from the map. But yeah, so my semi-automatic firing group of semi-automatic firers is actually them moving gravel in the quarry. So I thought, I must remember to tell everybody that. And it has been a long time since I was figuring it out. It's 34 years since I was in boot camp. I was in boot camp this time 34 years ago. No, 36 years ago, sorry. 36 years ago, I was on boot camp, and we were firing semi-automatic rifles on the live range and stuff. I actually loved doing it. We had to learn to fire laying down, sitting, kneeling, and standing. But most of the time we were on the live range, we were laying in the prone. We were in the prone position and firing that way. When we went up to Dip Flat, which is this base camp up in the mountain ranges there in New Zealand, it's on the South Island of the mountain ranges. There they have the live shooting range, and we did 100 meter course, 100 meter length from the target, and we had to do start off with prone, then move up and do 25 shots, then move up 25 meters, and we had to do seated, then move up and do 25 shots, then we had to move up 25 meters, kneel and shoot 25 rounds, and then we had to move up 25 meters and stand and shoot 25 rounds. So we had to shoot 100 rounds during that exercise. So it's been 36 years since I've heard that noise live, but it's a sound that you kind of never forget. And so to hear the gravel going off next door is kind of like, man, they're shooting a lot of rounds over there, and you're trying to pick out individual rifles and things, but I couldn't do it, and I couldn't figure out why. So we went on our little walk this morning, we discovered the quarry next door, and the way they were moving the gravel sounded like a bunch of semi-automatic rifles being fired. So it was very interesting. Yeah, to think that was 36 years ago. Man, what had I been in week? Would have been in week 6 or 7 of 13-week boot camp right about now, because I joined on the 1st of May 1984. So we would have been in like week 5 or 6, probably week 6. Yeah, this would have been just before we went up to Dip Flat, because Dip Flat was about halfway through, and so we went up there around week 7, and it was winter. So it was cold up there in the mountains, and we had these really cool sleeping bags, and I loved it because it's cold. I'm snuggled inside these sleeping bags that were really, really warm. The only thing I didn't like is that when we went for our overnight camp, they flew us up in the Iroquois in the Hueys, and they had the doors pinned back, which was awesome. And I'm sitting on the side seats with just the parachute seatbelt on, which is just a hook and an eye thing. And I'm facing out, and I'm having a blast, and the guy next to me, you could tell he was scared, and he sort of like goes, "You're okay there, Eakins?" And I went, I said, "This is amazing." And we're like looking, we're swinging up the valley, we're going like this as we go up the valley, and one minute we're looking at the trees, the next minute we're looking up at the skies as these guys are swinging the helicopter up the valley as we go to our drop-off point. And the idea was that we're going to go up there. We had full backpacks, we had all of our camping gear with us. We were up there for 1 or 2 nights, and then we had to hike back out again. And so they dropped us off, and we had to do they told us how to get out of the helicopter, and to run forward and get into you see it in the movies where they come and do that like circle thingy around, that semicircle around the helicopter, and they're like we didn't have rifles with us, but we basically had to do that and get down on the ground and low while somebody threw the backpacks out. And then after the helicopter took off, then we went back and got our backpacks, walked, hiked to our camping site, set up our pup tents. And the only problem with that is that I was okay in my sleeping bag. I was perfectly fine. But the girl, and being warm-blooded, but the girl next to me was freezing cold in her sleeping bag, so she kept trying to snuggle up to me. she had body heat, and it kept overheating me, and I'm like laying there with my face pressed up against the side of the tent, trying to get away from her because she keeps rolling over towards me to share my body heat, and I'm like cooking. I'm like got my arms out of my sleeping bag, I'm peeling the sleeping bag off me, trying to get her away from me. She goes, but I'm so cold, and I'm going, well, I'm cooking over here. And so yeah, didn't get a lot of sleep those 2 nights in the tents, but walking back out was awesome. It was a fantastic views, great scenery, and all of that. And I'd done a lot of hiking in my teenage years and things, and I could never hike in pants, and they had us wearing khaki pants. And one of the other guys, he does a lot of hiking too, and he doesn't like hiking with pants on either. And so we begged and pleaded with the flight sergeant that we were able to wear shorts out, and that would put pants on as soon as we got out. And so we got down there, but the trucks were already waiting for us, and the officers standing there. He says nothing to the guy wearing shorts, but tells me to put pants on. And so I was like, yep, sir, not a problem, and pulled them out, just pulled them on over my shorts, and got in the back of the truck, and we went down bumpy ride back down to the base camp. And that was a lot of fun. I don't know if I'd ever do a boot camp again, but it was a lot of fun when I went through it. But man, 36 years ago, wow, where's the time gone? Wow, is that 36 years ago? Yeah, it would have been 36 years ago. I was a naive 17-year-old at the time. Dang, what was I thinking? I probably wasn't. Anyway, that's it from me for today. We will catch you guys tomorrow morning with your challenges of the day. Have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we will catch you tomorrow. And Jason, if you're watching this on replay, I want to see the video of your made-up dance to the Dolly song in your Dolly onesie. Have a super fantastic sparkling evening. He konera.